Jeffrey? Jeffrey? Jeffrey, what are you doing in the gear closet? I thought you said gear was not important. Jeffrey?
If you're watching this video, I assume that you watch quite a bit of YouTube content, like myself. I mean, I would say that YouTube is my favorite channel, especially as a person who didn't go to school for filmmaking or anything like that. I've learned so much shit from just watching YouTube and then taking what I learned out into the wild. So I have an affection for YouTube content, but I feel like lately, especially in filmmaking, a lot of it is wrapped around gear, cameras, lenses, lights, just anything that you can buy. And of course, I know that it's an influencer driven platform. Like, it's used so they can market and sell a bunch of stuff. I'm not even mad at that. In fact, if you need me to sell something, holla at me. I just see a lot of it. And then my algorithm chose to show me videos about why gear either does or doesn't matter. And I figure I'd add my 2 cents to that. Now, if you're just starting out, gear really doesn't matter. That's the truth of it. Gear does not matter if you're just starting out. If you're like 1 or 2 gigs in, you probably got hired because you know someone that needed your service. That's usually how most people get their first gigs: a family member, a friend, a person that you know who knew someone that needed a video done and saw your work. Had nothing to do with the camera that you have. And to be honest, you can have the best camera. That does not mean it's going to net you jobs and gigs. It just doesn't. Cool. You have an FX6, a FX9, or a Red Komodo or something like that. If you don't know what to do with that camera, it doesn't matter that you have it. And really, most clients don't care what camera you have, unless they're of a different stature and they're requesting a certain type of camera. Whatever you can afford, whatever you can drum up. I'm not saying don't have any gear. Of course you need a camera. Of course you need a microphone and a decent set of lights. But is it necessary for you to go spend $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 on a camera thinking that's gonna bring you more income right off the jump? No, it's not. It's just no. You're gonna be salty. You're gonna have an expensive ass camera and nothing to do with it, and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt your pockets, it's gonna hurt your feelings, and it's not going to inspire to create because you're constantly thinking in the back of your mind about how much money you spent on this item. Because that's exactly what it is, an item. It's a tool. Composition, blocking, lighting, those are all things that's generalized. Like, that's everything. Now, of course, certain cameras have different workflows. Lenses have different characteristics. Lights have different Kelvin reads, all that kind of stuff. Yes, you know all of these things. And that applies all the way across the board. So it doesn't matter if you have a really expensive light or a really cheap light. The philosophy behind it remains the same. But there will come a time when gear does matter. It's usually when you're well into your creative journey. I'll give you an example of when gear started to matter to me. So this time last year, me and my good friend Maserati Rand were shooting our first short film for, I want to say it was like a Halloween filmmaking contest or some shit like that. And we were putting together this short film where we needed to emulate moonlight. We needed to shine through a window onto a floor that a doll was going to be sitting on. And all I had at that time was like a Godox SL60. So we tried to put that outside and shine that through the window. And as you can imagine, this shit didn't work. So after some extensive YouTube research, we found out that we needed a much more powerful light and also some gels to emulate what that moonlight would look like. So in that case, gear mattered, because what I had on the page that I wrote down, what I storyboarded, couldn't happen without that piece of gear. Then you have times where you might be on a shoot and something arises where you need a piece of gear to get through whatever that shoot requires. So that point, gear matters. You might have a client that's like, hey, what do you shoot on? You like, I have an FX6. And that client's like, well, guess what? We want a Canon C300. So that point, gear matters. Whatever idea that you come up with to make that happen is going to take this amount of gear to do it. So to me, it's really relative to where you're at in your career or your journey. If you're just starting off, do you need gear to start creating? Hell no. No, you can start creating now. They just came out with new iPhones that look just as good as legit professional cameras in some cases. Of course, it's not the same one-to-one, the quality, but then there's also times where high-end gear or better gear is a necessity to get whatever that job is done. So yeah, gear does matter until it doesn't. What you want to do is you don't want to buy everything. And I'm pretty sure you might have heard this before, but it's real. If you live in a fairly, large city, I live in Philadelphia. We have numerous rental houses. Shout out to Light Bulb Rentals, Unique Photo. It's just so many rental houses in Philadelphia. There's always a place for me to find things that I need just for the weekend or just for the shoot. I don't have to buy everything. But then there's things that I want for myself. There's cameras that I want to hold and constantly practice with so I can get better. Thus, I need to own them. But then there's cameras that I just don't want. I know they got this new Sony Burano that looks amazing. Of course, I would love to own that, but I'm not spending $25,000 on that camera, but I'll rent the shit out of it. So you got to think like that. Maybe this item is just good enough for a rental. I don't need to own this. I don't need this in my kit. But then there's some things that you want to save up for because you want to have so you can learn. And thus learning that will lead you to understanding the bigger and better gear that's out there. You know what I mean? If you don't know how to use your Godox SL60 or your 300 watt NAND light, if you don't know how to use any of that, you're not going to know how to use RE Sky Panel. You feel what I'm saying? Like you got to start off small to get to the big stuff. But you don't want to buy everything because you can rent some of that stuff. So yes, gear doesn't matter until it does. So I hope you liked the video. If you did, leave a like. If you want to stick around, catch more content because I will be making more stuff. I'm back. Subscribe to the channel and I'll catch y'all in the next video, man. Appreciate y'all. Y'all take it easy. Enjoy the rest of y'all day. Peace.